there's a deep secret the bride of the wedding is hiding from her husband, something she thought would never come back to haunt her, which is exactly what happens when her university friend comes to her wedding, bringing this dirty secret with her, which could potentially risk everything. The bride is willing to go to unimaginable lengths to stop the secret from ever coming to light. My friend De Jong from university is getting married. We were studying to become doctors. I haven't seen her in a long time, and now it's her wedding day. Set in South Korea, Bok-soo, an old friend of the bride called De Jong, goes to visit her on her wedding day after not seeing her for a long time. She's marrying to a man called Ma Young-hoon, who is dressed in a nice pink suit. As Bok-soo approaches De Jong, she takes a brief moment to recognize her, shocked that her old university friend is here, displaying that it wasn't her who sent her an invite to the wedding. That's when the groom comes to the mix, revealing that he was the one who did it, as he thought it would be good to invite her and let De Jong rest a little bit, as she was the one mainly sending invites. This doesn't exactly pan out as intended, as De Jong seems a little held back and hesitant, as if something had happened between the two that she didn't disclose to her husband to be, something that makes her awkward as she is now about her friend being here.
Oh God, I'm terribly sorry. Was I not supposed to invite her? No, it's fine. You did nothing wrong, honey. Thank you.
The tension between the two is undeniable, with the husband feeling embarrassed yet curious to why his bride is acting like that. De Jong puts in a lot of effort to pretend that she is happy to see Bok-soo again, saying that she is welcome here, yet flees the scene in a haste, saying that she needs to greet other guests. The groom, feeling certain there's some untold stories between the two, apologizes to Bok-soo, telling her that she can make herself comfortable. There's definitely some untold stories between them, matters left unresolved, which embarrasses De Jong, who doesn't want to revisit them, but matters which do not disturb Bok-soo as much. She's dressed in a long black coat with red gloves and a white turtleneck underneath. If anything, it seems as if she doesn't go to many weddings or doesn't get many invites, unfamiliar with the dress code needed for such events. Whatever secret they're hiding, or for whatever reason, Bok-soo takes on the invitation for her old university friend, however, ensuring to be there even though it might not be her typical scene. The groom, on the other hand, seems very gentle and approachable, seemingly not having much to hide. As Bok-soo tries to get to know him a little better, she asks how the two met, when he explains that it was on an accident, quite literally a road collision accident, where he tried riding an electric scooter to work, eventually hitting De Jong's car, even though she hit the brakes. That leads to her taking him to hospital and using her skills as a doctor, applying first aid on him, which ends up with the groom being smitten by her, asking her out for a coffee, and the rest is history. He then goes on acting all cute and romantic, saying how embarrassing it was for him, which makes Bok-soo clearly uncomfortable and repulsed, being a little bitter herself.
I guess you could say getting hit by that car was the luckiest thing that could have happened to me. That's, touching.
The conversation becomes even more awkward when Bok-soo asks about the venue, which turns out the groom, Ma Young-hoon, has rich parents and is most likely rich himself, as this venue belongs to them, being a Western-style property far from the city, occasionally used for ceremonies and other private events. Ma Young-hoon and De Jong seem to be the ideal dreamy couple, with the bride being a doctor, well-respected and well-paid, while the groom is well-off and well-spoken. This visibly makes Bok-soo uncomfortable and bitter, with the groom telling her she doesn't seem to be a very trusting person, as she comes across as such, asking about why the property doesn't have any security cameras earlier, to which she confesses it's something that the bride would know a lot about, making smirky suggestions, which flies right over the groom's head.
Oh, it seems like she's helped you a lot in that aspect. Our De Jong is really the sweetest, huh?
The conversation possibly not being able to be any more of a shipwreck, Boksu leaves the room, exploring the rest of the venue. That's when she reaches the garden, finding the Jung hiding there. Starting a conversation with her, it seems as if they were really good friends, as Boksu speaks transparently and without any filter, confronting her about how she acted earlier, learning she had come to the wedding.
Didn't you miss me? It seems like you'd seen a ghost. I missed you. You what? I mean, how can you get a little emotional over seeing an old friend? I'm a bit hurt. Isn't it the same for you? Look, I get that you're upset I didn't invite you. Alright? That's close enough. I made it here anyway, so no harm done. Right.
It seems as if the two had something together, possibly a fling or even a relationship. Something the bride wants to move on from, but something Boksu is not over yet and keeps trying to bring up over and over again, hence explaining why the Jung is not comfortable with her around. The bitterness of Boksu is further unveiled when she makes a sarcastic, snarky comment in a demeaning manner, asking a rhetorical question that it's that kind of a man that the Jung is settling for, which clearly offends the bride. It seems as if Boksu sees the man beneath herself and the Jung, not being cool enough to be with them. She downplays that the groom seems innocent, especially compared to how bad the bride is, which takes her by surprise as Boksu tries to resurface things that the Jung does not want to recall anymore. Either way, the Jung seems to ease on seeing Boksu again, even making a comment her outfit suits her. However, the dress code was not for a funeral. Just before she's about to leave, she's stopped by the bride, pleading with her not to do something rash and let her have a good wedding, promising to speak to her afterwards when Boksu snaps back in a smirky manner, saying how she has nothing to be mad about anyway, something the Jung told her years ago before they stopped seeing each other. Thinking it's the right time to spill the beans and tell the truth, Boksu goes to Myung-hoon, the groom, and asks to speak to him in private when he takes her to a private room. There, she explains how she didn't have friends, even now not having any, with the Jung being the only friend that she ever had, who took her to many places and showed her a world that she could never imagine. A world where she could enjoy herself and her youth, not just chasing after good grades and working hard to become a doctor. Trying to explain what was there between them, she says that one day she gets an urgent call from the nearby hospital that she was assisting in. Something specific happened.
You know what happened there? Don't try and scream. You'll just scar your vocal cords even worse.
Shocked and speechless, barely even able to, even if he tried, with his neck being pierced, Myung-hoon is shocked, with thousands of thoughts going through his mind that he made a mistake inviting her here. What has his bride done, and that it's a lot worse than he could ever imagine. That's when Boksu, in a resentful and bitter, almost furious tone, narrates a story. Something that has been playing in her mind over and over again since university.
We were studying to become doctors. I like to think that we were good friends. That she liked me, even if it didn't look like that for others. So, when she made a mistake, a messy, irresponsible, and completely avoidable mistake, something paying attention during a standard procedure with little to no risk of death could prevent. What do I do? I think I messed up. Help! I was the person she went to. It was her! It was her! She killed him. I was the person who took the blame. You, because of my son is dead. Aren't you studying so you can save lives? How could you do the opposite? I was let go of from the program. It wasn't my fault, and I was blamed. it was hers.
On that note, poor Myung-hoon draws his last gaspy breath and passes away, shedding betrayed tears to how any of this could be, on top of the pain of death, feeling the pain of betrayal, being lied to, and inviting someone who killed him. Bok-soo talks to herself if her beloved friend, someone she trusted, will show a grain of guilt for the death of her groom compared to the person that she killed and blame the friend for without any remorse. This all starts making sense to what the big secret was and why the bride didn't want her good old friend in her wedding. She didn't want the secret of her killing someone spilled and how she blamed her friend for it. Bok-soo, determined to make her feel the pain that she made Bok-soo feel years ago, clears the scene, locks the door, and stuffs the groom's body in the wardrobe, leaving the room through the window into the garden. Her to-do list shows that she wants to confront the bride and make her atone for what she did, but of course, going so far to prove the point and take revenge on her. After all, the husband didn't seem to have any involvement in any of this, and he was completely ignorant to what his bride had done. That's why he unknowingly invited Bok-soo, only having innocent intentions. Either way, it seems he was a collateral in the twisted story of Bok-soo and the Jung. Such a sacrifice to make the Jung suffer. Anyway, as Bok-soo wants the Jung really suffer, she overhears the groomsmen talking about a rumor how one of their mutual friends called So-jun said he saw the groom, Myung-hoon, met up with a girl called Mina in the last New Year's party. Despite the potential of it being true, all the groomsmen agree that Seo-jun never says anything reliable and always spreads rumors, with the groom being a good man since university, being devoted to his bride, the Jung. Regardless, this provides fuel to the fire and material for Bok-soo, who really wants to hurt the Jung. She goes and talks to the bridesmaids, spreading this rumor, which they gobble up on like sweet candy, over-exaggerating it and developing it in real time just in a few seconds on how it's all true and the groom is a horrible, cheating and disloyal man, as he was a walking red flag to begin with, seeming so perfect and innocent and all that typical drama, as God forbid someone is actually and purely good, because something must be wrong with them, right? That's when the bride catches up with them and holds Bok-soo's wrist firmly, leading her to the very same room that she hid the groom's body in earlier. There she wants clarity to what she wants and what she's doing when Bok-soo confronts her.
What more can you do to me that you haven't done already? How many patients have you lost since then? It's always unfortunate. You can't save everyone. How many times have you diagnosed someone wrong? How many times has your hand been too clumsy for your own good? Have you ever wondered if it had been me still practicing instead of you, they would be still alive?
On that note, it's clear the Jung is a clumsy and corrupt surgeon who has killed many, dismissing it as natural and that not much could be done, instead of admitting that she's bad at it and that Bok-soo probably deserved to be in her place, as she would be a much better surgeon and doctor. She simply dismisses all of that and tells her to leave as she doesn't want to ever see her again, displaying what a vain and deceptive person she is, wanting the fame, the glory, and money from this position, yet not having a single drop of humility and shame to honor her patients, the ones who deserve a good doctor, the ones that she kills in her way, a sacrifice to be where she is. That's when the Jung says she will call her groom to escort her out as she has enough of her, with Bok-soo telling her not to bother, passing her the weapon that she used to kill him, saying how it wasn't her doing it, but it was the Jung. Essentially, she explains how she will blame the murder of the groom on the Jung, having already created a perfect alibi and spreading the rumor amongst the bridesmaids that the groom had a fling with someone called Mina, and that the Jung would lose her mind finding out about the betrayal, leading to her losing control and killing him. Hearing all of this unfold right in front of her, horrified that something has happened to her groom, she attacks Bok-soo with the same weapon when Bok-soo quickly opens the closet door, with the lifeless body of Myung-hoon dropping out right on top of her, with his blood smearing all over her white dress. Shocked and pale as a ghost, the junk screams from the top of her lungs, the weapon still in her hand and the corpse of Myung-hoon right on top of her laps. That's when the mother of the groom rushes in, hearing the scream, seeing the scene in shock, with Bok-soo acting terrified, cowering in a corner, screaming over what the junk wants to say, lying that she killed him, who tried to kill her too as she witnessed her trying to stuff his body in the wardrobe. The junk shocked to what she's hearing, with everything happening so fast she can't form her words, wailing, who eventually runs out of the room, not being able to cope with any of it. The mother drops on her knees, hugging the lifeless body of her son, crying, when Bok-soo calmly stands up and watches as the events of her doing unfold in front of her, hearing people already chattering and forming theories that she lost her mind, acting obsessively, killing him because she found out about an affair that an unreliable person called Seo-jun spread. She walks out of the property right in front of it, where she finds the jung is kneeling outside the venue, wailing and crying, muttering to herself that it wasn't her. It was Bok-soo. When the sirens are heard approaching, with Bok-soo having a menacing smile on her face when she walks away, muttering something to herself. Do you atone now? On that note, Bok-soo managed to successfully take her vengeance on being wrongfully accused of messing up and losing her prospects and good future of being a wonderful doctor. She lacked confidence and was lonely, someone who the jung befriended just to betray her to save her own future, using her as a collateral. As a matter of fact, Bok-soo was a wonderful student and doctor assistant. She was very skilled and good with the knife and studied hard, just for her supposed friend to betray her and destroy her life and future. She exploited her innocence and lack of confidence and good social skills to put the blame on her. Just to double down, she never apologized once and had a superior complex attitude, even dismissing the person that she burned and stepped on to move forward with her life, and most likely killed many other while practicing medicine. So in a way we can say the junk deserved this fate and outcome, but who didn't deserve it at all was the groom, who died in vain and just for Bok-soo to seek her vengeance on. So in a way, Bok-soo went a little cuckoo and would deserve to be behind bars herself as well, which shows the extent some would go, hurting themselves and risking their own life and everything just to destroy the one that they hate, who did them wrong. Not to say Bok-soo had anything of value anyway, and as she mentioned, and the telltale signs, she probably lost everything after what the junk did to her. So essentially she had nothing to lose. And that's about it for this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, make sure to stay tuned for more by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star, and I will see you on another one. Have a fantastic day.